Hey, I'm Robbie Kramer. You're listening to the Leverage Podcast, where we discuss using your social skills to hack dating, travel, finding your dream job, and becoming a complete man. Great to have you back, Jared. We had you on the show, I think, about a month ago. So
it's good to be back.
So it's Jared, Psych, Lawrence from Modern Flirting. And if you guys didn't hear the last episode, definitely go check it out. Go over to, podcast, you'll see it up there. And I wanted to have you back on to chat about more stuff because
I know it was fun last time. I wanted to get back on here.
So Modern Flirting
Yep.
I actually had a client who just called me, I think like yesterday. And he is terrible at flirting.
All right.
He's English as a second language. And I was kind of embarrassed because he was telling me about some dates he was going on, and he says to me, he's like, yeah, I feel like I'm really connecting with these girls. And I'm listening to that and thinking, okay, yeah, you might be connecting, but they're not attracted to you. You're not creating any sort of sexual tension. For him, that was good because just getting the reps and hanging out, going on dates, talking to women is what he needs. But he's asking me, well, how do I start like holding their hand or kissing them or escalating? Because every time I try, they're not reciprocal. And I'm like, well, that's because they're not attracted to you.
Yes.
And he's like, well, how do I touch them differently so they are? I'm like, you don't.
Right? We're missing a whole phase in there. It's people trying to do a bubblegum and scotch tape job of if I just hold her hand this way,
right?
Then the last hour I did is negated. It's fine. It's that's not how it works, dude.
It's like, so where do I touch her? I'm like, no. So first of all, you might be having conversations that, you feel connected. Mila, can you turn that shit down? Mila, thanks. Sorry.
Also, he might feel connected. Doesn't mean she's feeling connected either.
Exactly.
Or maybe connected as a friend, which can be typical.
Right. And I'm like, are you ever teasing her or, breaking rapport or having any sort of, fun, flirty conversation? He's like, no, how do you do that? And I'm like, you just tease her. You tease her strengths, not her weaknesses. And he's like, well, can you give me some examples? And I was trying to think, and I'm like, fuck, I can't think of any. And
well, that's the old fallacy of your comedian. All right, be funny, go right now, be funny. It's
right.
I don't know. It's one of those things that has been a moment, but a good way I like to describe the whole breaking rapport thing. So a few things going on here. So first, I like to describe the whole breaking rapport thing as if you know the social script, what am I supposed to say to this? Just don't say that.
Right.
That's basically your breaking rapport. So it's how are you doing? Awful. Oh, what? It's just shock. They don't get does this straight dress make me look fat? Yes.
Yes.
So it's just whatever you're not supposed to say that, and it's just unexpected, and that's an easy way to break rapport for guys. Another one is silly answers. Girl asks, what you do, and I think that old one was I'm a lion tamer, or just something that's just
ass model,
not
ass
that. Model. Yeah, something that's just not expected, right? That's another easy way to just make it playful. But what wasn't taught to us when we first started this was flirtation. It was not really a thing when we got into it. It was always be interesting, be cool, and then somewhere along the line finally make a move when it's after a ridiculous amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And I had to go and kind of research and discover what flirting was for myself, because it's just not really talked about. Everybody has a different definition. It's one of those things where it's like porn. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. It's like right. That. So I look at flirting as anything playful that has a sexual or a dating undertone or sub-communication. Right? So if I'm being playful with a girl, but don't make me spank you or something like that, that's going to be flirty. That's not playful anymore because that's a little bit of that sexual undertone, right? You're amazing. We should run away to Vegas and get married together. That's going to be flirty because that's that dating undertone.
And role play. So, to get married.
Role play. Those are my favorites. Role playing and role reversals are probably my favorite ways of starting the flirtation, going from playful to flirty.
And role playing is great because it allows you to keep coming up with content within that role play. If we're a married couple, I can be like, fuck, you never do the dishes anymore. You used to be such a nice wifey. Now you're just fucking lazy. You know, you used to cook for me. Now you don't, right? It's so easy to come up with lines within the
you
context.
Keep going and playing with it.
Right.
And then it becomes a callback humor too later on.
Yeah.
So you can see, but yeah, I love role plays. Especially, and then the whole investment principle, if you get her into the role play as well, and then the ultimate is if you get other strangers involved in the role play, like you just introduce her to somebody as your fiance or your wife. Now you're playing this role together, and that cements it more than anything.
You look like such a baller when you do that to a girl on a first date. Oh, I had this, I took out this girl a long time ago, back when I was living in San Diego. This had to be in like 2000, I don't know, 2007 or something like that, 2008. I'd just gotten into the game. And I remember this line. I was out on a first date. Wasn't going very well with this girl. We were at like a bar in PB playing pool. And this dude could tell we were on a first date. And he came over to totally try to like cock block me and steal my date.
Holy shit. Okay.
Like, yeah, it was aggressive. And it was like an empty dive bar. And he comes over and he's like, so you guys were on a first date, huh? And I was about to say yes and just go for it. And then I remember this line, like, no, actually, she's just my bratty little sister. And just saying that, like the look on her face went from like, oh, I don't know about this guy to like, you know, she had just seen Santa Claus.
Excuse me?
And she like latched onto me and grabbed me. And then we went outside and immediately started making out. It was the craziest transformation from girl like not into you to like totally into you. And it was more of an effect of saying it to a stranger. So.
Oh yeah. Anytime we involve other people in our little secret or whatever, like it's just, yeah, that conspiracy thing. One of the other classic ones I love to do also is if a guy's trying to talk to my girl, I like beg him to take her. Like, can you just get her out of here? Can you take her home already, please? Take her off my hands. Like,
please just take God. She's the worst. But you'll love her though. Trust me.
Yeah. No, she's great for you. Just this. Oh my God. I love it. It was always so counterintuitive. The more you just push him away, and then, at least in a playful, like there's later, you know, you do have to make a real connection, and get a lot of investment that way. But early on, just that nonstop, like, I love it where the girl has no idea if I'm about to be sweet or I'm about to just like be a douche and be a dick and just push her away. You know, it's always that anything can happen. And I think that's what makes it so fun on a date or interaction is that nonstop rapport cycling.
Yeah, and I think it takes a while to get good at that.
Oh yeah.
You know, you got to go on a lot of dates. You have to have a lot of conversations, do a lot of interactions. Do you have any tips to kind of speed that process up? Because I mean, I'm
absolutely
I'm just like, listen, man, it's gonna take a while. You got to just drill it. You can even get on calls with other guys and role play. That can be good.
I always get. I've tried that. It just turns into like, I don't know. It gets goofy. That's one of the things I offer though in my course. I have a bunch of girls who are my like demo girls. I really don't know what to call them. It's better than girl. But
drill night drill.
You want the drill girls? But so with the demo girls, like that's literally what they do. They go an hour on like Skype or Zoom or whatever, and they just talk to them, do it again, repeat, try different stuff out, and then the girls give them their advice if it like felt right to them or if it looked off. And so like that actually helps a lot. If you know the guy wants to pay for a girl to do that with. Another way of speeding it up though is what we were talking about before the podcast is social circle. Like if you're just around girls even as friends, you could just constantly be practicing fucking around with them. You don't have to be escalating or flirty or trying all that stuff, but you can definitely build rapport, break rapport nonstop.
Yeah. Great practice for friends. He would struggle to...
guys do it.
What's that?
To a degree, guys tease each other and do it. It's different, but there's definitely, camaraderie and teasing and breaking rapport and obviously building rapport with guys as well. But it is different than if you had like female friends or girls that you can do it with because you get their typical type of responses.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not really quite in the place yet where he would struggle to build a social circle.
This is the guy with flirting problems.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would tell him just every two things is rapport break. Every time he knows what he's supposed to say the opposite. And so the answer, and then also, you should tell him like you're not allowed to make connections anymore. Stop, because what's happening is like there's 5 vibes. I mean, I don't know your take on this, but I feel 5 vibes people go through, right? When they meet, which is, one is like the comfort vibe.
Yeah.
We're just comfortable hanging out. Then we go to playful, then flirty, then connecting, then sexual. And it just keeps bouncing back and forth between these, but like that keeps pushing it from comfort to sexual. So if he's skipping playful and flirty and just trying to connect, then really he's just connecting as a friend. It's all they have is comfort.
Yeah.
And when you try to go sexual, it's awkward because you don't have the prerequisites there.
Right.
So I would just tell these guys, like, just stop trying to make connections and being Mr. Romantic Suave and shit, and just like focus on fucking around with her. Focus on the flirtation of making everything dating, an undertone of dating or sexual innuendos and stuff, you know, and be okay with it not being this romantic connection at first.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's really good advice. That's basically exactly what he needs. Well, he needs both. He needs to, because he's not so good at the comfort part either. But
well, then we have to just go into fundamentals.
Let's just kill him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just weed him out. Sorry, like I tried, man. That would motivate some people. It's like either you graduate the program or you die. Like, I just get serious about it.
You know, it's not going to work out. So give me what's been going on with you? I've seen your posts on Facebook. You're partying quite a bit on houseboats on lakes.
Boats and hoes and all that good stuff.
I just got back from a good boats and hose trip in Lake Como.
See, you're the only guy I hate talking about Social Circle with, because you're always just doing one extra level of epicness. It's like, oh yeah, I went to this cool festival. It's like, oh yeah, we went to like the Burning Man of Ukraine. Like, I'm like, God damn it. Well, I went on a boat thing. It's like, oh yeah, I just took a yacht out in the Maldives with all the Playboy models. And I'm like, I don't like talking to you, man. Like,
I just talked to you so I can razz you about this stuff.
I know. I'm like, God, come on.
That's why I have you on the podcast, really, just so I can be like, hey, so what have you been doing lately? Well, I've been doing
well, it's just so you know.
The one-upper.
The one-upper. No, I'm so jealous. I'm really thinking about making a Eastern Europe trip, maybe doing Ukraine, Croatia, Sudan.
Yeah, come out and visit, man.
Germany, I know my boy Darius wants to do something, so maybe I could just do like a fun little, I don't know how much business would it be, but maybe a fun little tour.
Yeah, well, we can record some stuff and make it worthwhile. But the beauty of Europe is everything's so close. And
how much is a plane trip from Ukraine to Germany?
You can do Ryanair for, I don't know, if you book in advance, $25 or whatever their cheap rates are.
Wait, $25 for a flight? No.
Sometimes, yeah. Germany to Ukraine, they've got super cheap ones. If I were to book it for tomorrow, it'd be like $100. It depends on how far in advance, but nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. No. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so I might be visiting you soon. I'm just thinking of going to Oktoberfest. So.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to go to that forever. We could.
Maybe we could do a uniting in Oktoberfest and then check out Ukraine or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun.
We're going to talk later on this, but we're definitely going to talk later on this part. But yes, I think that'd be epic. We could record some stuff, both of us in Oktoberfest. I think would just be a riot, and it'd be so much fun. But as far as what I've been doing lately, I finally got my book out. Which was funny. I missed the book launch, the official one. So I've been giving it out for free still, to people who take action, who message me, and who I talk with. So again, it was supposed to be last month. I remember I said it was coming out or something, but it got delayed. So the book launch officially is August 5th, and the book is called The Psychology of Modern Flirting, like about 260 pages, something like that. And so it's coming out soon. And obviously for anybody listening to Leverage, and just all you got to say is Robbie's name, and I'm more than happy to give you the book for free. Just message me. You can email me at psych@modernflirting.com, or better yet, just add me on Facebook. That's the easiest way. Honestly, I don't even know. I think like emails become obsolete.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Jared Psych Lawrence. Yeah.
How long did it take you to write the book?
So it depends on your definition of it. So truly, I would say 3 weeks, right? But that's not really how it went down. I started one day and I wrote a little bit, and then I wrote a little bit more like in 3 or 4 days, and maybe I got like a chapter or two, and then I kind of just stopped and got busy with other stuff. Then I'm like, man, I'm slacking. I need to get this book done. So then I just shut myself in a room for 2 days, and I wrote the book in 2 days.
Wow.
But from start to finish, it'd be about 3 weeks. But I really just kind of woke up, wrote, went at it, then until I went to bed, and then woke up, went at it. Because I'm the kind of guy, I don't want to do like a little bit, do other stuff a little bit. Like I just wanted to just zero in, focus, and no distractions.
Well, that's a hugely important concept. Have you heard of Cal Newport, Deep Work?
I've heard Deep Work. I don't remember Cal Newport.
He's the author of it was a
Okay.
national bestseller, New York Times, whatever.
I've heard of Deep, yeah.
And that's his whole thing. It's everyone is incredibly unproductive these days because we're just constantly getting interrupted by social media, by our phones, by you name it, all the notifications, right? And
I literally just put my phone away, all of it. Like I did Deep Work without realizing.
Yeah. And he has some case studies in the book where he talks about, I forget which writers, maybe it was, philosophers from the past, maybe some ancient Greek, Plato, Sophocles, whatever. And they did.
I know these guys personally, and they did some. Deep work.
Yeah, they went out. They went out in the cabin,
But yeah, they didn't have anything else. How else do you do deep work when you're just living in a cave or some fucking shit and there's nothing else to do other than deep work? I'm sure that's the best example, but okay.
Yeah, not the best. Maybe he had some other ones, whatever.
This guy on a ship. Although you mastered deep work.
But no, it's impressive that you got it done so fast. And a lot of people say they've got a book in them, but no one ever gets around to writing it. And
that was me for a while until I got a fire under my ass, and I want to write another one. I want to. So my structure, the way I show people how to move an interaction with a girl from start to finish, I just call it my attraction ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like 15 steps. And obviously the first step is starting the interaction. And I wrote another book on that, How to Meet Your Dream Girl Tonight. So that was the first book I wrote. And I would like to go back and write up another one on the second step of the second rung in the ladder, which is a conversation. I would love to, because that's another, right after people approach, the key thing I always keep talking about is I run out of things to say. I always run out of things to say. What do I talk about? And I'm like, I'll just want to write a whole book on just, I don't know, I call it conversation mastery, never run out of shit to say. Like just like stop bitching about you don't have shit to say. Read this, you'll have shit to say. Like just.
Well, let's talk about that, because, people never have shit to say, or they have too much shit to say. So give me some good shit from the book.
The book that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
All right, chapter 1.
I'm 135. Yeah.
All right, now that it's on here, now I actually do have to write this thing. Wonderful. But no, it's good. I like it. It's motivating to do it. But I guess.
What do you say to a guy who's like, "Oh, I never know what to say," or "I suck at conversation"?
There's a few things. One is the classic, just you can give them some routine or give them some sound bites or things just to get started, so they don't have that excuse, because a lot of times it's just an excuse where they don't want to get started, or they like the training wheels type aspect. But that's that's a good start, but it doesn't really fix the problem of not knowing where to take the conversation, how to go about it. So the technicals of it come down to, one, being able to associate, realizing certain things in conversation are associated with other things, connecting those dots that allows you to transition from one thing in the conversation to another. So for instance, if I said, I'm taking a flight to go visit you in the Ukraine, right? Now, listen to that sentence, I'm looking for the leads that leads me to the next thing I could talk about, which would be flight or Ukraine, or in this case, I'm taking a flight to visit Robbie in Ukraine. Flight, Robbie, Ukraine. These are all leads. I associate anywhere around those leads, and then I can make conversation on it, transition. So for instance, Ukraine, I associate with Eastern Europe, and then Eastern Europe I associate with Germany and Oktoberfest. That's how I literally came up with the Oktoberfest thing we were talking about earlier. Like my mind just associated to that. And that's where I'm like, you know what, we could do this and that'd be a cool idea. So that connects the dots. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, just go off of what was being said or done, and that will lead you to the next bit of conversation. Even if the girl doesn't give you much, you can just go off of one of your own leads.
Yeah.
I think
the problem, I think that what fucks guys up from doing that is they're like thinking about what to say next. So they're not even hearing the nouns in the sentence to know what to go off of next, because they're having their own conversation in their mind.
I know.
And then all of a sudden, like, ooh, it's like when the teacher calls on you when you've been sleeping in class.
Right.
They call you
You're
and
in
you
zombie
the
mode.
answer, and you're just, wait, where am I?
Yeah.
And
I mean, what I'm talking about is the super technical aspects of it. I'm talking about like the actual, like, this is technically how one thing's moved to the other. But if you're actually in an interaction thinking like that, you're already fucked.
You're fucked.
Like, you can't be just going like, that's the lead, associate now. Okay. Like, you can't be doing fucking algebra in interaction, right?
Right.
So this is more stuff like conversational drills guys can do at home, things they can practice and thinking about, ways of, mapping conversations in their mind so they can see it, visualize it, drill it, play around with it. When you're actually in person, it's more about knowing what kind of topics are good. We used to call them like shit crack topics, whether it's the unknown, festivals, party scene, whether it's aliens storming Area 51 or pop culture or whatever the hell, right?
Yeah.
Just knowing what kind of topics are good and what topics are bad, politics, religion, death, whatever. And really what I would say, a big one just from, so I kind of went off on the outer skills, the technical skills of conversation. The inner work of conversation is kind of what you're saying, is just stop thinking about yourself. Stop worrying about yourself. Focus on them.
Yeah.
People keep thinking the answer is in their head. They keep thinking like, I got to pull a line out of my ass. And then like, that's so hard to do. It goes back to what we were saying, like, oh, go be funny, or, here, give me a breaking report example. Yeah, show me a flirting example. It's like, what? I pull shit out of my ass? Because that's not what we do. What we're doing is we're watching the girl or the guy, we're watching the people, and they're giving us things to play off of. Like, we're thinking, what are they thinking? What are they doing with their body language or facial expressions? What did they say and do that I can now associate and comment on? So stop filtering. Say whatever, make the fucking mistakes. It's not that serious. That's more like the inner type of advice for people who struggle with conversation.
What do you do? So switching gears a little bit, but same vein of conversation. Last night, I had some buddies in town, and we did a karaoke night, which is very popular in Ukraine.
Love that.
It's fucking hilarious. The girls are so into karaoke here. Like, every place is karaoke.
God, you live in like fucking Disneyland. It's so stupid.
Really?
So I would so much rather do my shit with karaoke stuff versus just clubs all the time. And
the clubs, yeah. I'm so sick of the clubs, because karaoke is great. You get a table, right? It's,
love it.
Yeah, everyone's there. So I think we had 6 or 7 girls friends that came out to dinner karaoke. I had 3 guys visiting. One guy brought his girlfriend. The other 3 guys were single. 2 did a pretty good job of integrating into the social circle, hanging out with the girls. One guy, it's funny, he's very quiet.
Okay.
And he does really well if he goes out and he does day game, or he uses Tinder, or goes out and hits on girls one-on-one. But put him in a social circle scene, he just fucking stands there.
I've seen that. The more stoic, very chill. I've seen guys like that. They're very good at one-on-one because they can make that like feeling of connection going on, but they just can't deal with the energy.
Yeah, basically. And I tend to see that quite a bit when it may just be the function that the girls that I party with are just so completely outrageous.
That too.
Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck do I do? Like, with this insane people jumping around. But how often do you run into that in your dealings? And who are you partying with mainly? Because the hard part is finding guys that can keep up. Like,
oh my God, yeah. So
that's the hardest part.
Hold on, my camera just kind of jumped up.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, I have fun little rules or ways I go about it. Let me ProCam. Well, so the first question is, yes, I see that all the time. The stoic guys who can be, a lot of guys can be good with cold approach, but they're just awful with social circle.
Right.
And it's also how they're training for cold approach. So the way I train my guys for cold approach is going to make them specifically also really good with social circle. They're not just going there to like just be aggressive right off the bat and do all these like high octane, high risk, moves.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually learning how to morph an interaction from start to finish and build that comfort, build a connection, build a flirtation, build sexual tension, all the way through the attraction ladder. So with my style of teaching, I want to prepare my guys for a social circle, because to me, that's the ultimate. You don't want to be the guy who's nonstop just creeping on girls everywhere you go, and that's the only way you can meet a girl. But how to surround yourself, that is tough. Like identifying which guys are key. It all kind of just, when you go into the nightlife scene, I basically just kind of see what guys are normally out, and you meet a bunch of girls. So here's how I'll tell you exactly how I do it. I never really broke this down like to this in depth. I've always just been like, find a cool guy, find a guy who's a social connector. If he's a social connector, which a social connector means he just knows lots and lots of people, right? So if that's the case, chances are he's not bad with people. Otherwise, how the fuck would he know all these girls and guys, right? So by default, this guy knows what he's doing. He's not a weirdo. He's calibrated. So what I'll do is I'll just meet a lot of girls myself, and maybe I'll just go up to any rant to start with. I'm gonna give my whole I'm gonna give my whole fucking structure wage for free on leverage. So you guys are in for a treat. But
Wait.
I'll break it down for you guys. So this is exactly what I do. I go and first step, let's say I move to Ukraine, I don't know anybody, or move to a city, I don't know anybody, right? I'll go to the club, wherever I think is popular, I'll ask around who's popular. I go to that club, I'll then meet the promoter at that place, or I'll just look for which guy is seating people at tables. I'll go talk to that guy, buddy up with him a little bit. He probably doesn't have time to talk with me much, but I'll ask him, how does it work if they do comps? I have a lot of girls I want to bring out. I know a lot of girls here. I don't, I just moved here, but I'm going to make it up.
Sure.
And say, what can you do for me? And see if he'll get me a comp. See if he'll just get me my own free table. Never as good. Usually get 1 bottle minimum. Sometimes I'll kick you out before the club closes for a paying customer. But it's something. It's some kind of cool deal I can get, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm on a mission to actually deliver what I just told this guy. So I use my cold approach skills, and I just find 6 girls or 10 girls, and I invite them all out for this whatever night. Out of the 10 girls, 5 respond, or 3 or 5 respond, and they bring their friends. So now I'm out with like 15, right? And then I tell the guy, like, yo, I got 15 girls with me. And he's like, you're amazing. That's cool. Now all of a sudden his eyes perk up a little bit, and he's like, all right, this is actually got to know. And then if he runs events and does stuff, I might try to befriend him. I might try to hook him up with one of the girls or get his type. If he's busy, then whatever. And for some guys, it ends there. But as I keep bringing these girls out for other events, what I want to hear from them is, what parties are they going to? Who are the main guys they know that have the best events and fun times? And that's when the girls are like, you should meet my buddy Eric. Eric is big into the nightlife scene, and he always has a big entourage, and he's always. So I'm like, yeah, introduce me to Eric. And all of a sudden you meet Eric, and like, oh, Eric owns a promotion company out here. And I'm like, Eric, I don't want any money, but if I bring X amount of girls out, can I, let's party together. Let's, do whatever. He's like, yeah, pregame at my place. I'm like, now I'm in. Great. And you got to do a few meetings. And all of a sudden Eric has like private parties. And then who are these other guys at these private parties? Right. They know Eric or somebody. So now I meet them like, oh yeah, I run my promotions company. I'm one of the hosts at the top club. I'm and now all of a sudden you start realizing, okay, these are different guys in the circle. Even if it's a competitor, they'll still go to each other's things because they all run within the same circles.
Right.
So that's what's funny. In San Diego, I'm friends with people. There's like 5 group, night access, party authority, DJ here. I do think DJ is part of 5 group. So I'm friends with like all these different guys who have all these different companies, but I just go wherever.
And it's funny. I saw that Facebook post with Enrique. And he's pretty well connected in the nightlife scene. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but when I was partying in San Diego, I was a lot of time going out with him. How'd you meet him? Same sort of deal?
He contacted me from this podcast.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he heard the podcast, the last one.
Yeah.
And he messaged me, and he's like, "Yo, I want to hit you up." And he actually came out to one of my boot camps and had a great time. And I'm like, dude, I want to get personal training. I'm too fat. He's like, I got you. So
nice.
We becoming friends, and he's a really great guy. And that's a beautiful thing about all this stuff is like we're being introduced and meeting people you never would have met, even just through this podcast, and it just builds up that circle.
Oh, that's cool. I was wondering because I was like, well, I don't know how those guys met, but very cool.
Shout out to Enrique. What's up, buddy?
He actually it never happened, but he had a couple of buddies that wanted to come on one of the Maldives trips.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they didn't end up coming, but it's just when you're in that kind of small world of partying, everyone kind of knows everyone. But I love that the way you broke it down just now. And then after that, it's basically, you're constantly being invited to things.
Yeah, but now you're cemented. I call it you're just getting cemented in, which means you put the FaceTime in. Everybody knows you. People are hopefully talking well about you. But now it now becomes social circle game is basically now a game of politics.
Right.
You've got to know like how your reputation is, what your perception is. You have to, but starting it is a bitch. It takes a lot of energy and work, and it's tiring. I explain to some people and like that sounds exhausting. I'm like, I know it's exhausting, and spending the rest of your life going out every night trying to talk to a girl.
Right.
Like, I could go to an event any night of the week and have a date, or have an event to go to and meet 5 girls just by default without trying. Right.
Within the warm leads.
Yeah, it's all warm leads. It's all introductions, and it's where you get the most gorgeous women. Don't want to meet some random guy you probably can't even get access to them.
Right. Yeah,
honestly, you can't even get near them. So, like, if you really want more attractive women, if you want to make this so much easier, it's 1,000 times easier. Not okay, maybe 1,000, but it's so much easier being introduced to a girl and to go, oh, you're a somebody, and we have mutual friends. You're not some crazy potential killer rapist dude. Like, and you have credibility. It's just so much more powerful than I'm trying to start a conversation from scratch. Code approach can be a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
I'll give code approach that, and I still like it. It's fun and entertaining and whatever, but it's just, when it comes to effectiveness, it's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. How do you balance your social circle with work? I struggled with that quite a bit last year.
Oh my God, great question.
Yeah, because it really can, and I've seen it happen to so many guys where, they build their social circle and then all of a sudden they're partying 4 or 5 days a week, blowing a lot of money, even though you're getting comped mainly, but you're still spending money, Ubers, right? Whatever.
True.
Like,
and comp stuff, and you want to go off and buy a shot, in isolation, and you're going to want it. Yeah, it's so ridiculous how much money you're saving with partying compared to like what other guys are spending. But at the same time, by doing it so much, the little things do add up.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like that's just how it goes. I was bad this weekend, but it was one of the main guys who I'm friends with and who's the head of the party authority here. It was his birthday weekend, so I was out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Sunday I had some girls over and we just like went to the hot tub, and it was more like a just rest day for me. But other than this weekend, it wasn't too balanced. But before that, I'll just limit myself to like, all right, 1 or 2 of these events. Or if I'm going to the events, I make it like a work thing. So like even last night at the end, I had 2 girls and my roommate. We went to the hot tub. But I'm like, you know what? I'm reading one of the books that are on my to-do list to read. I just took it and I was antisocial. And I read. I'm like, look, I'm here. I'm with you guys, but this is on my to-do list. I want to read this book. I got to get this through. I'm going to get through this. I'll do like a Facebook Live, or I'll do something, or maybe I'll try to record some kind of content while I'm in the social circle. I try to make it work when I can about it. But at the end of the day, it's just the thing that saved me the most is Google Calendar. Like, I know what I have to do. I know my things I have to get done. And so if I want to go party and do other shit, I just do I do front loading, which means I do all the work straight up as much as I can early on, so I don't have to worry about stuff later in the week. It's just scheduling time for it. That's a big thing I have to teach my guys. A lot of people think all I'm teaching is flirty pickup lines. Really, a lot of times it's just how to be organized, how to manage your time, how to use different tools to stay on top of things. But yeah, it's very easy to get sucked into a party lifestyle, especially when it's the first time you're experiencing it. You're like, fuck everything else. This is amazing. It becomes like a drug.
Totally. Yeah, that's the the great thing about social circle, but also a danger. The nice thing about San Diego is people have mainly normal kind of like working lives there. It's not like LA. When I was living in LA and doing a lot of partying, everyone in LA is industry and no one has a 9 to 5 in LA. So, the better club nights are Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday. You're just like, and then the weekend comes and there's more shit. It just out of control.
That was my life when I was in Vegas. I did the social circle in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
But I would not be able to do what I'm doing now, like running the business. Like thankfully, when I was doing Social Circle in Vegas, I was just a coach for another company.
Yeah.
So I just did my calls, done. Now I can go out and go play and go crazy. But that would be so dangerous now because it's nonstop, never ending, all the time. Like I'm glad I can focus on work here and get that done. But yeah, I mean that's the other reason why I love what what I was able to create and do with Social Circle influence. Because I did it in Miami on a small scale, and I was like, okay, that's where I figured it out. And I'm like, cool, it works. Then I went to Vegas, and I'm like, whoa, this is intense. But I made it work in Vegas, non-stop free shit, tons of girls out, all, crazy party, connecting with the key guys. But I'm like, maybe Vegas is just made for that shit, So I'm going to San Diego, nice chill place. Boom, no, San Diego boat parties and clubbing stuff again, and have the crazy house partying connections. I'm like, no, this works anywhere.
Yeah.
It totally just works anywhere. So I've done it. I've taken over 3 cities at this point. I'm pretty sure of it. The only test left would be like doing it in Wichita, Kansas or something. Like really, but even then, I'm sure there's some guy who has house parties or knows the most people.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a nightclub in the city, then there's got to be something, right?
Even if there's just a thing, if it's just a play, all you need is a guy who knows everyone and wants to do a thing. Even if it's like, let's hang out in a barn. I don't care where you are. If you're in Alabama, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to the creek. Like that's just a thing now, and now you're part of that social circle, and like it is what it is.
Yeah, I liked how you broke it down. That was really good. And it's true. You could just dump you anywhere and do it. And it's the same thing I did. And
in Ukraine, like, come on.
Yeah. Ukraine's great because not only is it small knit and kind of like you mentioned, but anyone who's an English speaker, right off the bat that they're probably pretty interesting. That's in the scene anyways. And just the fact that if they're in that party scene and they're not from Ukraine, there's a pretty high chance that they're pretty interesting and cool to get there in the first place. Do
the Ukrainians know English too or no?
No, they do, but I'm talking like a native English speaker, an expat. Someone from.
So the moment I'm there, just because I speak English fluently in first language, there's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's interesting.
Well, if you're in that, once you kind of get into that first or second level of partying. No, I mean, if you're just an English speaker, you're just an asshole tourist, right? But once, not from that spot, but once you get to know some of the other promoters, bring some girls. Immediately when you bring some girls, you're up there.
It's funny how that works. That's a universal language.
Exactly. Speaking of partying, I knew I had to scale back when I was basically every time I'd go out to party, I'd play through, meaning I'd party the next night as well without sleeping. And that's when I knew, all right, gotta scale back. But the weirdest thing happened, like, I don't know, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago. I just started getting these just deathly hangovers. And now I just can't do it, which is great. It's like my body was like, fuck you. There's no more partying for 2 straight nights in a row and staying up. You can party for one night.
What are you doing now?
Sleep.
I've heard of stuff like charcoal. I'm starting to think together, like there's like charcoal or the hydration. I see like ads for stuff where it's like, if you drink this before, or then you get no hangovers. I'm like,
I just drink less and I don't know. I've been trying to not drink at all, but
same.
Yeah.
I've been doing, I want to do like a 2-month no drink challenge. And then I'm like, well, this is really not practical. I did it for like 2 weeks, but I'm like, I can do it. It's like tactically hurt, like not beneficial, not explaining all the time. And
right.
Things like that's celebratory. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to limit it. I'm just a challenge to just not get drunk. And I've been sticking with that one.
Yeah, like, that's a better way to, I think. Because when you're out with your friends and you refuse a shot or you're not drinking, they're just like, what the fuck, man? What,
right. But if I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not going to like, let's do another one. Let's like,
yeah.
It's like, that's what I'm doing lately is I'm just limiting to the point where I'm like, I just don't want to be drunk. I want to be aware of everything and be good. And if I don't need to drink, then I just don't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've been getting better with that. I was on one of the boat parties here and I just got hammered and I barely like remembered some of the end of it. And it was just like, got too ridiculous. And I'm like, I want to be able to be in control of everything now, especially because, I'm teaching this stuff. I want to know exactly what's going on, what I'm doing, and not just be all, silly and goofy.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for that, and that's fine. But I feel like I missed out on more key things just from a business angle. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need that shit.
Yeah.
And I want to lose some lbs. That's why I'm meeting up with Enrique. So it's my whole challenge of doing my meal prep, going to the gym twice, 2 or 3 times a week, and limiting drinking now.
Have you tried intermittent fasting?
I have, but I never give it a full fair shot. So I definitely need to start that up.
Dude, you should fucking do it. It's been amazing. I've been doing it now for about 5 weeks, and I took 2 weeks off when I was traveling in Italy and Greece.
When is your window personally?
Well, I interviewed this guy on my podcast a long time ago, Jay Campbell, who's like a testosterone replacement therapy guy. Older guy's in great shape. He has a book called the Blowtorch Intermittent Fasting Diet or whatever. I might have botched the title, but Jay Campbell. And one of my clients did it, and he was 45, 47, and he got absolutely shredded. He's like, dude, I didn't even follow it that closely. Like, I did a good job of doing the fast, but my diet wasn't that clean. He's like, I didn't drink, or I limited my drinking severely, but basically I just, the whole idea of intermittent fasting is you try to go 16 plus hours without consuming any calories. You can have black coffee, you can have tea, but zero, there's like 2 or 3 calories in black coffee, but nothing else. Because you even have like a bite of a crumb, you break your fast. And essentially what's happening during that fasting window, once you hit that 16-hour mark, is your body it's just burning fat. So it's one of the only diets they say where you can actually gain muscle and lose fat. And a lot of people are always like challenging about that.
So if you're doing it though, I'm just curious, like what time of day works for you? Because you live the same kind of lifestyle I do.
Yeah. So I have this app on my phone. I'll show you. It's here. It's called Zero. I don't know if you guys can see that there. The one in the middle there, Zero.
Yep.
And it's just a super stupid simple app, and it's just a fasting timer. And it's amazing how effective this is, because you want to eat and then you look at the timer, you're like, fuck, I fasted for 4 hours. I don't want to, and it's 8:30. I could eat a big meal, or I could just go to bed and wait to eat lunch the next morning, or lunch next afternoon. But to answer your question, I basically go 16 to 18, sometimes 20-hour windows. So
I mean, what time of day do you allow yourself to eat?
Basically between like 11 a.m. and 4 to 5 p.m. I try to do a 20-hour fast each day, Monday through Friday, and then the weekend I don't do it.
So I guess you're not counting alcohol when you go out at night or whatever?
No, I don't drink on those days either. So if you're fasting, you can't drink anything. But on the weekend, I don't do it. On the weekend,
so the weekend you give up.
Yeah, there's nothing on the weekend, right? It's just eat normal, drink normal, do whatever. But during the week, so I'll wake up, I'll go to the park, walk the dog, do some meditation, do a little journaling, just my morning routine, have some coffee, and I usually won't get hungry until I usually wake up around 8, but I'll start to get hungry around like 10 or 11. But I'll, there's some supplements you can take to help you as well. But I'll try to fight through to make sure I complete, so I can go as long as possible to keep that fast going. But I usually eat around 11, and then it's challenging because you need to consume enough calories for the day, right? But you only have 5 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours.
I get that. I mean, I could stuff myself around like even at 5. My biggest thing I might become a baby about is, I ate at 5. Now it's like 11 or midnight, and I can't go to bed because I'm just starving.
I didn't really experience that. I could always go to bed pretty easily. Even
go to bed if I'm hungry. That's my thing.
It was hard at first to adjust to it, but there's some pills that help you, deal with the hunger, and that in conjunction with coffee or tea.
That's at night. I mean, if I drink coffee at night, then I'm definitely not going to sleep.
No, right. So I can sleep on coffee or tea for whatever reason, but you know, certain types of tea, not green tea or something with caffeine.
But yeah, I'll put. You know what? I'll play with it.
But well, here's the thing: it's everyone I know that's done it has gotten shredded very quickly. I'm noticing huge results just from the short time I've been doing it. And the greatest thing about it is it's so fucking easy. You just don't eat, right? Like,
is that all? Why did I think of this?
Like, all right, what's my diet plan? Oh yeah, I don't eat.
Yeah, it's called don't eat. Put the fork down, fatty. That's the diet.
But there's just something about and what I love about it is when you do eat, you eat what the fuck you want for the most part. I mean, obviously, you don't.
And it's probably glorious. You're just like, oh my
God,
you're
so
fine.
hungry. You're just like, oh, wow, this is great, right? And it really speeds up. So if you're already kind of,
you know what, I will start it today. I already ate my breakfast, whatever, but I'll make my last meal today at you said 5.
Start with a 16-hour. Do 16-8, which is very easy, and then over time, so like just shorten that window. Yeah, 11 to 7 is good. 10 to 6, whatever. 8 hours is a good place to start because most people can kind of do that, and then you'll find, like now, I'm pretty comfortable doing 20 hours and 4. You know, so eat between 10 and 2. Have a big meal at 10, another big meal at 2, and then I'm done. And I feel great. I have more energy working out at the end of a fast than I do.
Oh yeah, that sounds like, do you work out before you break your fast, or you work out after?
It depends on the workouts. So if you're doing heavy lifting days, you're not supposed to fast those days. Just because you need the calories or whatever. If you're doing, I do sprints, which is a really great ab workout. Like of all the workouts for abs, sprinting is the best thing I've heard, because it contorts your abdomen and forces you to.
Yeah, that's what Ricky usually does. I'm like just lifting random stuff and then on push-up position. It's very just getting me sweating and very
circuit training basically.
Circuit training. Yeah. So
high
that's
intensity
right before you eat.
That's great to do on fasts. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna hate myself but maybe I'll be too much in pain to be hungry. So there you go.
But the other thing is my mental clarity is amazing during a fast too. Like during that period when I'm hungry, I'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna do work. And there's way less brain fog or ADD or whatever the fuck I have going through when I'm.
There's no name for what you have, buddy.
But I think you'd adapt to it pretty fast, and it's crazy how effective it works.
Well, all right. So I'm gonna make 2 promises on this podcast. One is if anybody reaches out to me and says Robbie's name before August 5th, I will be giving you my book for free, which I said. Again, just add me on Facebook, Jared Psych Lawrence. And next time
we have to extend that because I don't think this will be released before August 5th.
All right. Well, all right, fine. If anybody just mentions Robbie's name from this, okay, I'll give it to you. It's fine. And what was I gonna say? Yeah. So mention Robbie's name for that. Just add me on Facebook. That's the easiest, Jared Psych Lawrence. Or you can email me. I'm guessing they'll be on the podcast, so I'll have a write up or something. But my other thing now is like I'm gonna start it today. So 7 o'clock in my window. And next time I come on, I'm gonna make sure I'm sticking to it until we talk again. We'll see how I do. I'll be a case study.
Start with the 8 hour, and then and I'd recommend reading the book too to really understand all the. Because I'm talking.
I've read the articles. I've talked to so many people on it. It's just I understand it. It's just about doing it at this point.
Okay.
My friends did it too. He got in really great shape. I've just kind of been. I don't know. I for whatever reason, I just haven't done it. But like after talking to him, like, you know what? Why not? And I love influential principles, and one of them is commitment. So being on public right now, saying it here is, I know that's going to be a great way to motivate me to make sure I stick to it. Otherwise, I'm gonna look like a little bitch when I come on next. I'm like, no, I stopped. So I love anything to do with influence.
Yeah, it's great. Cool. What else do you want to talk about? How much more time do you have?
About 10, 15 minutes.
There was so here's something that I spoke about recently, which I think you'll have a lot to say about, or something interesting to say. I was messaging a friend earlier, and he was watching my Instagram story from last night at the karaoke. And he was talking about some girl that he's trying to give off the impression that he's like a good guy.
Okay.
And my response to him was, I don't think you necessarily want to do that. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world to look like a fuckboy. And
Sure.
when I say fuckboy, I don't mean douchebag. I mean fuckboy versus a player. So a player is a negative stigma because they're playing, they're manipulating, they're kind of cheating the system, or they're making a woman feel like they're in it for the long term, but really they just want to play around and be casual. Versus a fuckboy, like girls fuck boys because they're probably fun to fuck, and they know they're
simple and fun.
It's casual, totally casual, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm using it in a kind of a positive light here, and I like to even advertise myself as a fuckboy because that allows me to, it really gives girls a accurate depiction of who I am, and the main point about it is it does a lot to reduce jealousy on the back end after I do hook up with girls, and especially in social circle, right? You're kind of everyone's hooking up with everyone, and there's like no one's got time for this jealousy crap, especially in depending on the social circle. I know you, so I know that's probably also the case.
Yeah, unfortunately, I might have a slight man whore reputation I gotta play around with, but it does help in terms of the jealousy and all that kind of stuff, and you also become the guy that some girls want to tame, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like the problem I used to have was either breaking girls' hearts because I was, being a player, or having to explain to them like, hey, I'm not looking for anything serious. But now that's just totally, I never have to have those conversations ever because every girl knows that, obviously Robbie is just a man whore. And that's
it's a man whore thing. And I also always kind of really pre-frame it a lot too, as like, I really like enjoy you as a friend. You just happen to be a friend I'm attracted to. Like there's a sexual thing here, but we are friends, and no matter what, this can't ruin a friendship. I love like the friends with benefits framing as well. Mm-hmm. It's like that, no matter what, I value as this is just something fun we could do as well. Why not? Yeah. That's the girls I'm actually friends with. If it's just early on, we don't know. It's like, no, I'm not doing anything boyfriendy or players like taking them on dates or doing anything like romantic. It's more of just, we're in a party scene together. Like, what do you expect?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And how are the girls in San Diego? I haven't been back to the U.S. in so long. I'm so used to kind of like Ukrainians and Eastern European girls who have girls are either like very, very open-minded or very not open-minded. It's very, the big polarity. Yeah, traditional versus just crazy party. And I'm obviously connected with the crazy party end of people.
Sure. I think the girls here are like more mid. I mean, there's a whole thing where I'm, talking to everybody and they see my views on open relationships. And I have, every now and then girls like, oh, I couldn't do that. But I think the majority are always like interested or like, you know what? Yeah, I would like to know more about that. I could see that. So in that sense, they're like open. I remember I was on the boat and I had like 5 of them around and I was teaching about open relationships and how to make it work. And they were like hanging on every word about it. Like they were super curious and interested. It wasn't like, oh my God, that's fucked up. That's stupid. So they're definitely open-minded. They're not always like all about party scenes. Like they always want to go to an event, but because it's not like the Vegas thing or where that's all we do. Like they all have like a normal job they got to go back to, do other things as well. And it's not as free love, so to speak. Although, it's not as, hook up on the top of the hat. It's not like Vegas, whatever. It's more of be seen, be around, a few times, and then you get the feeling with the girl, or she gets the feeling with you, or dance with you, and then you just need logistics, right? Yeah. But what I'm learning, I'm realizing, and I noticed this maybe with San Diego, I actually noticed with Vegas, and so I'm curious your take on this. The top naturals, not like guys who studied pickup seduction or stuff that we did. Yeah. But the top naturals I'm seeing when they're all around these girls in social circle, and naturals not for cold approach, like naturals when it comes to social circle. Right. Like the top promoters and shit, I never see them making out with the girls.
Never.
In the group. Never.
And they're never touching girls either. Girls are constantly touching them.
Right. They might put their arm around it or like whisper.
I mean initiating touch. They're not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
running around but girls
No,
are.
no. The girl comes and hugs them.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm like, I'm watching this. So yeah, I like to. So this is something I haven't even fully figured out yet. I have ideas and theories I would love to like share with you and go into that as well, because I think they understand, or everybody really understands, the power of discretion, and they
Yeah.
don't want to be seen by it. And I fucked that up because I was just like, yeah, I'm still like corporate, but I'm like, oh, I'll make out with you, whatever. And then after I made out with like 3 or 4 girls, the guys didn't give me anything, but some of the girls were like, oh no, like she saw you making out with blah blah blah, and it goes with the whole man whore frame, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, huh. So that's I'm like, normally, making out with a girl is amazing, and it's great in that moment and whatever. But now I'm like, oh yeah, it's not really that discreet, and now she might get buyer's remorse because other people might judge her, and it might become a whole thing. So what's your take on that with social circle? Because I'm realizing they never escalate, they never really make out. It's always like get back to after party and then disappear in a room with them.
Yeah. That's been exactly my experience. Very, they don't, and I actually had to adopt those principles. I was kind of like you in the beginning, where I
Right.
was, dabbling, making out, doing whatever I could, right? Oh, she wants to make
Yeah.
out. Fuck it, why not? Right? Make out there.
This is how we do it.
3 girls at one time. Why not? Like,
Right.
but then the problem is you got the high fiver guys that see you, and then they come over and then they want to meet you and they want to like, exchange contacts. So then you got to deal with those idiots. Those are like the most annoying guys. I constantly get guys who are like
the high fiver guys. Oh, you like randoms?
Random dudes who are like, they see me partying with a bunch of girls, they see me making out with some girls or whatever, and they're like, oh, like I want to meet this guy. And
where are you doing? Because usually I'm doing like stuff like at a table or something where they can't even get to me.
in Ukraine, there's not like
No rope stuff. Oh, okay.
It's not so much like, I mean, it's kind of like that, but not like
Got you.
You don't really have the kind of like guarded off areas. You don't have the
that'd be awful annoying. I'm bougie, I guess, used to like Vegas, Miami, San Diego roped off sections.
Right. Yeah, they don't really have that here. It's like either you're in the club or you're not.
Okay.
But that, I mean, there's not a lot of riffraff at the club either, so it's not that big of a deal. Sure. But you do get those annoying type of fanboys when you dabble in that behavior. So that was one annoying thing about it. And then the other thing was just the discretion. And I was realizing how it would occasionally cock block me, or girls would, see that going on. They'd be, less. It would just cause some problems. So I basically, I don't do anything. It's like
that's how I've been leading the last month or so. I've just been with some of the new circles. With one guy, it doesn't matter. We just go to his place and we just crush and have fun. He didn't give a shit. But with one of the new circles I'm in, I was noticing it. It like dawned on me, and I'm just like, I have a hard rule now. I'm like, there's no kissing in field until back, and you're making sure that you're isolated.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good. I'm not the only one who's seen this or noticing this.
No, it's definitely and all of my promoter friends that are naturals, it was same deal. I would never see them ever make out with girls in clubs or do anything super over the top physically. And but
it's always behind closed doors.
Yeah, after party wherever, but never at the club, because it's just it's like, I think to a girl, to the hottest girls, like it's a sign of, they see a guy making out in the club, it's almost like, all right, cool, he can make out in a club, but the guys at the very, very top would never do that because it's just too flaunty.
Yep.
Yeah. I
could definitely see that. It's and they're not there for anything. They're there to see me. It's not like making out. It's like you don't want to be talked about like that in that way. You want to be the ones talking. I don't know how to explain it. Like everybody's like, you don't want to be the on the news, the social forecast today. Johnny and Sarah have been making out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, fuck that.
Totally. No, there's so much stuff I had to make a list for the next time we talk about all the little tiny nuanced things that you see in social circle and out in the nightlife.
It's great. And it's clearly like, different. Or like another rule I'm having now is the amount of messages or texting I do for meeting up with them. So it used to be just like, oh, I'm always offering them fun shit, cool party, free table, free drink, whatever. But then I realized they started tapering off and get less responses. And I was not understanding. I'm like, I'm always giving these girls values. What the hell? Why are they not appreciative? And then I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm actually never texting them just to say hi, like as a friend, as reports.
Right.
Now I'm like, all right, for every time I do an invite text, I need to do at least 2 report texts.
Yeah.
To just like catching up with you, how you doing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and that made it amazingly better, you know?
For sure. Yeah, because then they just feel like you're, you know, because I'm sure they have other people, other promoters in their phone too, right? Doing that. They're going to go with whoever they have the most connection with.
And but it was so counterintuitive. I'm always like, I have these great things going on, but all it really takes, and not even like a over the top playful, although you could do that too, but just sometimes like, hey, think about you. How have you been?
Yeah.
You know, like
it kind of goes against all the rules of texting cold approach, right? Never text the mundane like, hey, how you been? Right? Versus that's what you have to text when you're
like,
when
you're supposed to be friends here, you know?
Right.
Like,
and if you're trying to be too flirty, you just look like the guy in the club making out. Same sort of. Exactly. So any sort of game is over game, in a sense.
So that's the thing. It's a reteaching of, you know, of a sense. And for guys who really go down hard what they see on YouTube as what cold approach is, or like mimic other these infield videos and stuff, like when they want to take to the next level and go with Social Circle, they are just screwed, because now they're just over the top crazy, doing, you know, ridiculous stuff that most guys are going to friend. And you see these same guys, you bring them in a social situation or social circle situation, like, oh, here, I'm going to use my friends, and they lock up. They don't know how to behave at all. These guys who are supposedly all like Mr., you know, social freedom, don't give care, they can do whatever. They shit themselves.
I won't name any names, but big dating coaches that have thousands of subscribers on YouTube, I've coached to like untrain their pickup shit.
Oh my God.
It's like, the handful of these guys have like big names, have way bigger followings than me. They're like, dude, I want to do what you're doing. I'm like, all right, you need coaching, man, because this shit you're doing doesn't work in Social Circle. You're just like a pickup. You know?
But there is a way you can. So that's one of the key things, I guess. I mean, I know we're gonna be wrapping up stuff, but I really want to stress to the listeners out there, like, you can have both. You can have all of it. Like, you should be getting your fundamentals down, not eliminate all social awkwardness. That's step 1. Yeah. Step 2, you should know how to cold approach and take things from meet to sex or relationship, how to make that work off a cold approach. It's just the way of going about it in a effective way. That's also going to be good training for when you start doing Social Circle. It's like how to meet girls, attract them, create a connection, and create sexual arousal as a normal, cool human dude. Not as some like ridiculous out there person who has to like do all this high risk, high reward maneuvers and get blown out, 50 times before one drunk girl says yes. Like, that's not what it should be about anyways, right? Yeah. So, and I teach, and again, with my book, I go over exactly how to do that. I go step by 15 steps through the attraction ladder. So I'm really about that. I'm obviously, Robbie and I, we're obviously really about Social Circle and learning that elements of social influence. And from there,
sorry to interrupt, but I think it's an important point for me, I think for you, and I know for a lot of guys too. When I started, I was just so fucking shy and boring. Yes, and I had to do social freedom. I had to do cold approach and turn myself into someone who was actually fun. And then I became
another thing not taught to us back then. No one taught fun.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
We were intriguing. We were interesting. No one was fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to first become like, not a fucking boring, shy, raging dork, nice guy. Yep. And then, but usually you go too far in the other end of the spectrum and you become the dancing monkey, or just
too old douchebag,
too over the top. Then you got to scale that back. And then it's such a crazy kind of roller coaster.
It's a pendulum effect. You're trying to find that sweet spot where right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for guys listening, it's like, if you're boring, like that, obviously you got to do something about that first, but then you got to be careful not to swing too far.
And when you do swing too far, it's not a death sentence. You just got to understand that you swung too far and swing it back.
Yeah.
It's good to swing too far. And that's the last thing, the point I was about to make before is when I'm coaching my guys, or I don't even like to say coaching anymore. Coaching is just a guy who tells you what to do.
Yeah.
I really mentor them. They have daily access to me. We do weekly calls. I come up with custom game plans every month with them. I want to be everybody's big brother if they're in my program, and I actually be a real mentor, someone who's hands-on. We were talking about that on the business end, the difference between these big coaches out there giving us advice or like having a mentor, like an actual person who's looking out for you and helping you can talk to, right? So that's what, and having my mentor like gave me that notion of, I don't want to be a coach. I want to be a mentor. I want to be that guy that's like, I got you and we're doing this together as a team and whatever. But the number one thing that I see almost nobody teaching or nobody talking about when it comes to learning, attraction, flirting, influence is no one really talks about how to learn it. Mm-hmm. They're teaching it, but they're not teaching people how to learn it in the first place. So all this content sometimes is gold and it's incredible. But there's a reason, I would say like 95% of guys who get into this realm, they get some result. Everybody gets an initial boost and gets a little, gets better, but then they almost 95% of them plateau and don't hit their goals. And that's because I truly feel it comes down to they don't know what it takes and what it means to be successful, to have a success mindset of the obsession of the fun. And so I go over 15 different mantras and mindsets that I feel, forget game and women and all that, I feel makes you successful at anything. And that's something I drill in and I train my guys so that they realize that they're having problems learning this stuff. It's so funny. I just go mantra number 7, mantra number 10, mantra 3. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. Like you're not doing it. You're not following that mantra. If you're following that mantra, this won't be a problem.
Right.
And it's like, that's what it takes to succeed. And something I want to make sure every guy gets. That helps with business. It helps with all areas of life.
It's universal stuff, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, like mantra number 1 is like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be understanding you're trading comfort for empowerment. You know? Mantra number 2, I think was it's all a game. Treat it as a game. There's rules, there's structure. Don't worry so much about it. It's make believe. You're going into the matrix, whatever. Just treat it like a game so you can navigate it. I mean, and it goes on, but that's a huge element I feel is missing in this industry.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And so guys wanted to find out more, modernflirting.com.
Yep. modernflirting.com. They can add me on Facebook, Jared Psych Lawrence, Psych. You can also just email me if you want, old-fashioned email, psych@modernflirting.com.
Get his book, guys.
Gary Pigeon
book.
If you want to buy it, then go. It's on Amazon, Psychology of Modern Flirting. But if you wanna message me and have a free strategy session, I'll just talk to you, see what's holding you back. More than happy to do that for any of Robbie's guys. So just message me. I'm pretty easy to talk to.
Awesome. Dude, it's been great as always. And sure we'll do it again in a few weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait. and yeah, I'm down. I really want to iron out some Oktoberfest plans.
All right. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Let's do it, buddy.
All right. Later,
all right,
man.
Cool. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening. If you want more, go to innerconfidence.com and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for the latest episodes.